that Secretary Hegseth and Rubio are going to be running Venezuela? And will you be sending in U.S. military troops to provide?
Team that's working with the people of Venezuela to make sure that we have Venezuela right. Because for us to just leave, who's going to take over? I mean, there is nobody to take over. You have a vice president who's been appointed by Maduro. And right now she's the vice president, and she's, I guess, the president. She was sworn in as president just a little while ago. She had a long conversation with Marco, and she said, we'll do whatever you need. I think she was quite gracious, but she really doesn't have a choice. We're going to have this done right. We're not going to just do this with Maduro, then leave like everybody else, leave and say, let it go to hell. If we just left, it has zero chance of ever coming back. We'll run it properly. We'll run it professionally. We'll have the greatest oil companies in the world go in and invest billions and billions of dollars and take out money, use that money in Venezuela. And the biggest beneficiary are going to be the people.
China, Russia, and Iran have interests in Venezuela. How does this operation affect your relationships with them when it comes to oil and drugs?
In terms of China and Russia, Russia when we get things straightened out. But in terms of other countries that want oil, we're in the oil business. We're going to sell it to them. We're not going to say we're not going to give it to them. In other words, we'll be selling oil probably in much larger doses because they couldn't produce very much because their infrastructure was so bad. So we'll be selling large amounts of oil to other countries, many of whom are using it now, but I would say many more will come.
Are you saying, Mr. President?
Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo-Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, and that is who the world ignorantly calls God. Bahashem, which means in the name, Yahweh Shai, which means He is our salvation, and that is who the world also ignorantly calls Jesus a so-called black man, who, by the way, only came for the Israelites. Now, what brings us to our topic this morning is the fact that Donald J. Trump, Commander-in-Chief, gave the green light to go into Venezuela and take the president, Maduro, and replace him with his own, you got it, committee, okay? Rubio, I think he said is going to be the president because the woman that's there now isn't fit to run it. And they came in there, as he said, to take over and set up oil companies to sell oil to the rest of the world. Now, is China, Iran, and Russia going to take kind to that? Not, more than likely not. Okay? Because they were close allies with Venezuela. Okay? So we see how this devil operates. Okay? He goes in, he takes the people resources, and then he leaves them dry. Now, the Venezuelans believe that that was a good deed that the United States did by taking this dictator out. So that's the narrative that we see in the media that's being spun, that the people of Venezuela are glad that America came and took Maduro because of his dictatorship. But all they did was replace one dictatorship for another. And this one is going to be worse, okay? Because although Trump said he's going to set up shop and give the money back to the people, okay, we know where it's going at, all right? We know eventually that that's going to be a breeding ground for them to try out a digital currency, more than likely, okay? With this newfound leadership of Venezuela, okay? So this is Habakkuk 2:5. It says, yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine. He is a proud man. This is the hallmarks or the trademarks of Esau Edom. He's proud. He can just go into somebody else's country, that he don't have no rights to remove their president and think nothing of it. But then he'll go on the defense, or he'll be ready to wage war if someone was to do just that to his home front. All right, but the times are coming where, hey, these nations are going to be fed up with that, all right? And they're putting together their arsenal to come just at this man, Esau, the so-called white man, all right? Including China, Russia, India, all those that have the capability of nuclear what? Arsenal, those intercontinental ballistic missiles. So it says Habakkuk 2:5, yea, also because he transgresseth by wine, his different philosophies. Because what is he going to do now that he removed the president of Venezuela? He's going to come in and set up his own regime. All right. And the people of Venezuela are going to have to get on board with it. Okay. Don't be surprised if a strong presence of U.S. military are more visible in Venezuela now. All right. Because to begin with, they used that narrative that they were trying to stop narcotics from coming to America from Venezuela. So they was, blowing up boats and things of that magnitude, carrying all type of what they said were illegal substances. Let's just leave it like that. When we all know, that illegal substances come from Colombia, all right? But see, Venezuela has the oil, all right? And now that they removed him, which is part of the plan, they can set up shop and now control even more barrels of oil, or now they can control even more oil refineries to give to the world, okay? Because why? They have to somehow combat this BRICS, okay? Because BRICS wants to do what? They want to trade with gold-backed currency, natural resources, okay? And we know America lacks natural resources, which is why they go in under the guidelines or cover of trying to make whatever country they go into better, but eventually they take their natural resources, okay? Where the Lord is raising up countries that's getting ready to do what? Rival America in that department, military, okay? It's all getting ready to go down in the valley of Jehoshaphat, or Yahweh Shaphat, meaning Yahweh judges, okay? So the Lord is putting all the pieces on the puzzle, and he's setting up Esau, Edom, and Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, doesn't even know it, doesn't even realize it, all right? He's walking straight into Yahweh's trap, man, okay? Because now all these other countries, especially these powerhouses like China and Russia and Iran, they're going to hate the whore even more, all right? And we know we can't forget about the small hats. They're due to do something to cause America to come into the conflict with Iran, all right? We know it's only a matter of time, all right, for the small hats, the 1948ers, if you know why I call them that, all right, going back into the Balfour Declaration, 1948, all right? They're due for some type of, movement to get Iran drawn into the war, all right, or to get them in war with Iran and cause America to get drawn into, all right? As it says, the least of the flock, which is those small hatters, should draw them out, meaning that they're going to bring America into this World War III, okay? So the pieces of the puzzle, or the pieces are being put on the board to be set in place for just that occasion. So it says, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, right? Here it is, the American people have so many things to worry about, such as homeless crisis, a good earning wages, but he's so concerned about other affairs in other people's countries trying to steal their resources that he doesn't worry about his own home front, okay? which is going to be his downfall at the end, all right? Because this division is going to come from within, okay? It says, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell. See? Wherever he goes, he spreads his philosophies, his ideologies, and they're never good for any type of resolutions for the people that he go to take over their land. All right? Just look what he did to the Native Americans. All right? Look what he did to what's his name? The African Gafati, the one that wanted to give his people free college, free house, and he got rid of him. All right. I can't say his name for nothing. Gafati I can't say his name for nothing. But yeah, he took him out. The same with what's his name? Saddam Hussein. All right, he took both of them out. Saddam Hussein and Gafati. I can't say his name right. All right, but he always paint the picture that these are negative men and he needs to come in and take them over. Well, see, Esau, Edom, your lies aren't working anymore. All right, the people are catching wind to you. Okay, they know that you're just a tyrant. All right, and they gonna see, man. See, you Northern Kingdom, you Venezuelans, you gonna come to find out that this man is not to be trusted. Okay, you gonna get a first-hand, up and close, personal experience with him when he shows you his hand, when he brings you that digital currency there. All right, because he's putting in his, people to rule it and ruling that regime. All right. So it says, who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death and cannot be satisfied. See, he's never satisfied. Once he get his foot through the door, then he gets his leg through the door. Then he gets his arm through the door till he gets his whole body in the door. And now you're under his regime. Okay? See, you were better off, although you may believe that Marudo or Mardo or whatever his name is was a dictator. But this one right here, hey, you're going to see what dictatorship looks like. All right? It says, and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. See? So the Lord is setting him up, man. All right? The Lord is setting this devil up, and he doesn't even know it. Because why? He's a proud man. All right? You heard the way he talked. The nations they can buy oil from us, as that's going to make America great again, because we're selling oil. Now the nations can buy from us instead of China and Iran and Russia. They can come to us now, because we got more oil refineries. All right, but see, that's going to be the downfall. Verse 6, Habakkuk 2:6, and this is why it says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe or destruction to him that increaseth that which is not his? Right. So here it is. They come into Venezuela under the auspice or the guide of taking over this tyrant dictatorship and coming in and setting up their regime. And now they take the oil refineries, and now they can sell oil to other countries that they already been selling to, and plus more. All right, because why? They're trying to prop up the dollar as much as they can before they go digital. Okay? Because this is where it's all heading to. It's all going towards the digital currency. All right? They're setting the stage. All right? Because oil is known as liquid gold. Okay? Whereas Russia, China, India, they're trying to back their currency with gold. Well, guess what? America's going to go for the black gold, which is oil. Texas tea, as they said on the Beverly Hillbillies. If y'all old enough to know about that. Beverly Hillbillies. Old Jed Clampett. Okay? Well, this is Jed Clampett, man. Donald Trump. All right? The quote-unquote businessman. all right, the innovator, all right, he's struck in gold, or should I say black gold, which is oil, all right. He's not buying it, he's taking it, all right. He ain't buying up though, he's just taking it, okay. It says, shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a telling proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his, right? So this is how Esau gets down. He takes that which doesn't belong to him, all right? That's what he did. This was a heist, a takeover, all right? He came in the early parts of the morning, kidnapped their president, and put his own people in the place of that. All right? And now it's under his regime because why? The United States of America has the strongest military on earth, all right? Just like ancient Rome did in that time, all right? But they're going to crumble from within just like ancient Rome did because why? Ancient Rome had problems from within because why? Their military was spread so thin throughout the earth that they couldn't protect what was home, their home front. America's going to fall into the same, boat because they got so many embassies and military bases throughout the whole earth that they don't have enough to worry about what's here at their own home front. So it says, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay, which is that debt. See? They want to keep these other countries in debt. So now that they have more access to oil refineries and that they can raise the prices of oil, they can keep these other countries at debt. Okay? Because oil is a natural resource. All right? You need oil for a lot of things. Okay? For a lot of machinery, you need oil. Okay? And this is how they're going to use it. They're going to increase the debt. They're going to increase the price of a barrel of oil. And these other countries, they're going to have to pay for it because why? Who's going to say no to the big bad wolf? All right? See, but that time is coming that these countries they're going to be fed up with that. Okay? And they're going to look to make that move. But before that can happen, the mark of the beast, the microchip, has to be made mandatory. And then the missiles come flying. All right? The missiles come flying. And that's what we're waiting on because once the missiles come flying, we get up out of here, all right? We get up out of here. So let's go to, you know what? Let me see if I can recall this. I know it's in Jeremiah. It might be 50 or 51. Where it says, how is the hammer of the earth? Because America is the hammer of the earth. It says, how is the hammer of the earth cut asunder? Let's see if I can get that. How is the hammer of the earth cut asunder? Because the Lord is going to be the one that do it, okay? He's going to be the one that break Babylon in half, which is America. Let's see if it's in 51. The hammer of the earth. I might just have to type it in. Here it is. This is 23. Jeremiah 50 and 23. It says, how is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? I have laid a snare for thee and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. See, because of that pride, man. Okay? He can't see the snare that's being laid before him. All right? Yahweh is putting him in the trick bag. All right? Bringing him right into the position that he need him to go into for these other nations that have that what's the word I'm looking for? For these other nations that have that disdainment towards him. So it says, I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware. Thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against Yahweh. Verse 25, Yahweh hath opened his armory, which is going to be those silos that's going to have those missiles housed in them for that particular reason, to destroy America, okay? It says, and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord Almighty of hosts in the land of the Chaldeans, right? So America is scheduled, or America is set to be destroyed, okay? And every move that this man makes is one step closer to that, all right? Until this place goes digital and eventually that chip be made mandatory, every move that this man makes, whether he knows it or not, is one step closer to that World War III getting ready to pop off. This is Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 1. The Lord has him in the trick bag. This is Proverbs 21 and 1. It says, the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh. See? So he's the one that's controlling this, all right? He's controlling Trump. He's controlling the elites that's controlling Trump to make him do these things, all right? Yahweh is controlling every piece on the board, all right? There's not a move that hasn't been set aside by Yahweh to be calculated and to be executed. Isaiah 55 and 11, it says, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void. So see, every move that this man make is according to the word of the Heavenly Father. He set this whole thing in motion. All right? It's just being played out in the physical, but he's already set it in motion in the spiritual world. But now it's being played out here in the physical world, and we're taking part and witnessing, and we're, what you would do, or what you would say, we're forecasting it, all right? As servants, as prophets, we're forecasting it, all right? Letting you know, play by play, what's coming up, okay? So it says, it shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it, see? So this is the part where we have to be patient, okay? Because the Lord is making moves, all right? He's setting things into place that, hey, we just have to continue to do our part, all right? And be good servants, okay? And the Lord's going to make good on his part because he says so. His word isn't coming back void, all right? These other nations, he's going to put the spirit on them as well, you know, to even have more disdainment towards this kingdom, okay? Because now they have the technology to rival that of America, okay? They have the missiles now, okay? That's why it says beat your plowshares into what? Joel 3. It says beat your plowshares, which is agricultural farming equipment, to what? It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up, beat your plowshares into swords, see? So now they have focus on the aspect of thermonuclear missiles, okay? Because why? At one point in time, China and Russia, they were known as agriculture, all right? But now they're more known as the powerhouse of, nuclear missiles, okay? So now they can rival that of America, okay? So it's an even playing field now. So the Lord has put them in the trick bag, okay? The Lord has put all these nations in a trick bag. But America, hey, they just can't see it because their pride exceeds them all, man. They're the hammer of the earth. All right. And the Lord Yahweh has laid a snare. All right. Because why? The king's heart is in his hand. It says, the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh. As the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. Right. So his word ain't going to come back void, man. All right. He going to put the spirit on these other nations. He's already putting the spirit on these other nations to get ready to wake up the mighty man. Russia, China, Iran. All right. And he's going to make, because you got to remember, the Lord is a man of war. All right. He's with all of this. Okay. He's with it. Exodus 15:3. It says, Yahweh, Exodus 15:3, Yahweh is a man of war. Yahweh is his name. So he likes a good controversy, okay? So now we have another piece of the puzzle that's revealed itself, that America, because I don't know if that was a slip of the word, that Trump says he's now going to have oil companies in Venezuela, all right? And now that he's taken over and he's going to put his own, is it committee or chamber or his own board of committee inside there to take over? Now, the people are going to love him, but they're going to see how it feels to be really oppressed, okay? Because what they thought they was being oppressed by that dictator ain't nothing once they see what's really coming down the pike, all right? Especially on the back of this digital ID, okay? So the Lord is a man of war, and he's with all of it, all right? He's with all of it. So he's the one that's putting these moves into place by using these, what do you call them? Dignitaries, these people in high positions. He's using them to make forth these moves, okay? All right, and we just hit a forecast and tell you, all right? And you need to get right while you still got time. All right, because you ain't going to have all the time in the world to continue to keep getting these warnings. Eventually, a cyber attack's going to happen or something's going to happen to get this thing really jump-started and kicked off. And we praying to the Lord, that it be 2026, that is the start of everything collapsing so that they can bring forth the mark, the charagma, the RFID microchip, and we can get the hell up out of here soon rather than later. Lord willing, Abarathasar, Father will. All right? So this is where we at on the day or the night after of this extraction, I can't even get the word right, but this taking of Maduro from Venezuela, okay? Extraction, all right? So this is where we at, all right? We're going to see how things play out. Keep your ear to the streets. This is 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. It reads, be sober, be vigilant, see? Those Venezuelans, they don't know what's coming down the pike, man, all right? Just ask Gaddafi. That's his name. See, Gaddafi, all right? Gaddafi, all right? He's the one that wanted his, Libyan people to be, have free everything, but America came in and got rid of him, man. I'm not sure if it was George W. Bush, but I think it was that got rid of Gaddafi. All right. The same thing with Saddam Hussein. All right. And now they done took this guy, Maduro, and the people think it's going to be better. All right. And they may even let them have it for a short period of time before they really come out and show the real reason why they did this extrapolation. All right. So it says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Right. All right. And we finna see this devil really show his horns in a minute, man. In a little while, we finna see. Because he got to continue to move. Because why? His time is running out. That time, that sand, that sand clock or whatever, he's on his last 2 or 3 pebbles of sand before his time is up. So he's got to make haste and get this thing up and running, man. 2030 is right around the corner. All right. If he want any type of time left, he got to get this thing up and running before 2030. All right? Because that's their plan, Agenda 2030. He wants to get this thing moving. All right? So we just got to continue to watch, be vigilant and be sober. Okay? Because this devil, he's moving, man. And if not, if we don't continue to watch and be sober, it says, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. If you fall out this close to the end, hey, it was nice knowing you, okay? Because this devil, he's playing for keeps, all right? Trust and believe. You take that chip, you through, all right? So that's going to pretty much wrap it up and conclude this lesson. So with that being said, pray someone was edified through it. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We're almost home. Shalom. Peace.